Hey, Herman.
Hey, just grooving to your tune there.
You know what I called that piece? I called that piece "Here's Harold." I wrote it for Harold Buchanan.
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course I did.
Harold gets it. Harold gets everything.
Yeah, and he doesn't give me anything. I'll tell you that. He didn't even say thanks, man.
Oh.
Anyways, I'm just waiting for people to come on the show to start yapping about important things. I don't know why we don't have anybody. This was advertised.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what can I say? Too bad for them. Herman, as I said, I'm going to do a "This Is Your Life" type thing here. Okay? And I'm not going to go in order. I'm going to just at random pick your games. I don't know when they came out. I didn't have time to look into all that stuff. And anyways, we've got two guys here, Von Deacon and Kenneth Cloby. Can you see the chat people, Herman?
I cannot.
Like you cannot? Why? Because you're blind, or
is it supposed to come up on the side?
You don't see it at all?
No.
Okay. Well, hey, Dave. There's Dave Tomko, Beat Cafe. Okay, guys, we just started. I said hello to Herman. Herman's here. Herman's got a new design.
Hey, guys.
Herman's got a new design. Hey, Kevin. Herman's got a new design we're going to talk about near the end of the show. And Herman, is there any way we can talk about GMT?
We can talk about GMT in generalizations.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm asking Herman is because there's secrecy happening here. So and I'm going to talk in code and I can't divulge too much. So there's no way I can show that little clip.
Not yet.
Okay, so enough said. So I'm going to do this is Herman's life as a board game designer. Okay, and I'm going to put up these games, and Herman, I want you to talk a little bit about the games I'm going to show.
Okay.
And here we go. All right. Okay, people. All right. So I'm going to show you this one. I want to share. Yeah. This, that. Let's see. Is it on? Yes, it's on. Herman. Dawn, everybody sees that
game.
Oh, there's Trevor Just. Herman, do you know Trevor Just?
I don't know him personally. I've seen him on various.
On what? Police photos?
I've seen Trevor on other podcasts, I think.
Yeah, I know. He's growing his hair out like Don King. But anyways,
I remember the Don King reference. Yes.
Yeah, but anyways. So look, Dawn of the Zeds. This is the 3rd edition. Is that right?
That is the 3rd edition.
And you had what to do with this edition, Herman?
Other than the fact that it's a combination of the 1st and 2nd edition and its expansion, nothing. So,
and it's ranked pretty high on. Is it on BGG?
Yeah, it's ranked 550, I think, in BGG overall.
That's insane. That's insane. I mean,
I know. I'm shocked every time I see it myself.
That's insane. I'm partial to this edition here, the 2nd edition. Let's see how this works. If I do that, does that show up? No, it doesn't. So your 2nd, man.
I may have told you this story already. You want to talk about Dawn of the Zeds, and I may have said this before previously.
What? So what?
That was actually the first design I did.
Yeah.
Ever. And it was rejected by VPG because it was too wargamey.
Seriously.
It was after I played Zulus on the Ramparts. and I was playing Zulus on the Ramparts, which is a States of Siege game about Rook's Drift.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wow, the mechanics of this should really work for a zombie game. And I remember writing to Alan and asking him about it, assuming that somebody had already come up with the idea, because to me it was so obvious. And he goes, oh, no, that's a really cool idea. So I said, you got to be kidding me. You haven't gotten a single submission to do a zombie game with States of Siege?
Seriously?
Yeah. So the first one I did, I mean, I had only done board games. So the first one I did was, way too war gamey. So he sent it back and he says, now you got to make this a little bit more appealing to the general public. Hey, James. And in the meantime, I did Gettysburg, the Wheatfield, right? Which was actually based on a set of miniatures rules I did. Because I was actually a miniatures player before, while I was doing board games as well. And then I came back with Dawn of the Zeds and redid it. And then that was the, there it is, Gettysburg, the Wheatfield.
Hey, I've got a hang of it.
A miniatures game on a board.
That's what. Say that again. I'm sorry, I missed it.
It's basically just a miniatures game using cardboard counters, and you'll note that there are no spaces. That's just a free form map.
Oh, that's right.
Rick Barber. Yeah.
I thought it was like what do you call that? Area control.
No, that orange device you see there, that's to measure range and angles. And
how old is this game?
That's 2010, I think.
So now what happened to this game? Because Victory Point Games, this belonged to Alan Emmerich, this Victory Point Games. Now Victory Point Games was sold. What happened to this design?
This design has a tragic history. I actually worked up an expansion to this right when VPG decided not to do an expansion. Then Consum Press was going to do it when John Krantz was running Consum Press. Then John went to Compass. And actually, John even commissioned artwork for the game. It was going to be called Tattered Flags. There's Blast Pop.
Hey, Blast Pop.
Mark, right?
So that's lost. That game is lost.
Well, we keep having a discussion about bringing it back. And I don't know, we get a little bit started, and then I'm not sure that Compass wants to do it. I guess that's the bottom line.
Okay.
I don't know if they want to do a miniatures game like that.
Okay. And
so it's just kind of out in the ether. Maybe one of these days I'll revamp it and bring it back. But that was actually that Tattered Flags there was based on an actual miniatures game that we played back in the day when I had a big miniatures club in 15 millimeter ACW figures.
Okay. So Herman, American Civil War, that's your forte now. I mean, you can't deny that, right?
I don't think I can deny it. I think I have 5 games on Gettysburg now.
Well, I mean, here you go. You got that one.
I got that one. That's on Cedar Mountain.
Now, you revisit this in the new game. Is that right?
No, this is the Battle of Cedar Mountain. So you're talking about the blind sword system in itself?
That's well, no. I'm not very well versed in American Civil War, the dates, this and this and that. But I know when I was looking through your rule book, you had many, many different scenarios, which actually were short scenarios. You know what? Let me bring it up now since I'm talking about it, Herman. We're gonna do This Is Your Life a little bit later. So what I'm trying to say here, people, is that Herman's got a new game happening. Do you know what the ETA of this is, Herman?
Officially, this is spring of this year.
Spring of this year, eh?
It's going to be soon.
Okay.
Barring, now, I mean, in these days, all sorts of things go wrong. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So, tentatively, this could be very soon.
Is this a Kickstarter type thing?
Yes. So
I guess
that would be a Flying Pig game Kickstarter.
So I guess that's the way to go. I mean, that's how publishers can not go bankrupt, is to do a Kickstarter and see if things go well. I guess that's the future, amen.
Well, presumably that's the way to do it, right? I mean, you know if there's enough interest to actually go ahead and do the project if it makes your goal on Kickstarter. Now, a lot of companies use it just to as a pre-order system, right? They're going to do the game anyway, and they just want to raise.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Okay. So beautiful cover. First of all, let me tell you, Herman.
Yeah, that's Mark actually commissioned. That's an original piece of art that Mark bought for the rights to put on the cover of the game.
Wow.
That's Hood's division at Gettysburg.
So hold on again. The guy on the horse here, that's not Longstreet?
No, that's Hood.
That's Hood, eh? They all look the same at that.
They all look like ZZ Top.
I know, man. And like, how old was Hood at this point? Was he even 40, man?
No, I don't know how old he was, but I don't think he was that old.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
That blows me away. It blows me away, man.
Yeah, and actually, the name of the title of the game comes from a quote by Hood when he was talking about the attack on the second day of Gettysburg.
And that's another thing that I'm going to that I'm curious about, and I'm asking out of total ignorance here. Like all these, the slaughter pen. These are all like the slaughter pen. That this is funny, Herman.
I had to. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, and what was I talking about? I was talking about the Devil's to Pay and an unexpected encounter. These are all. Why are these quotes associated to the Civil War? What happened?
Well, every title of a scenario is either the title of another game I did on Gettysburg, or it's a quote from somebody, or I think that's basically it. I tried to make them all significant in some way. Well, the slaughter pen is just the location of that small scenario. So just so people know, the game has two big maps. I mean, it's a huge game, but it comes with 13 scenarios, 9 of which use only one map. And you can see the graphics there. The highlighted area is the area that you would actually use for that scenario. Thank you, Robert.
So what I'm looking at here, I don't know if you can see my mouse. No, you can't, eh?
No.
So the map I'm looking at here, the colored section, that's not two different maps. That's one map.
So there's a north map and a south map. So that's the north map, and the highlighted area is the play area for that scenario. So the scenarios even only use a section of a map. So you can, I'm hoping that we can do a stretch goal where Mark can make these neoprene, I don't know, dividers, I guess, that you could lay out. So you could lay out and section off the map. So you could just play on that area.
You know, Herman, you just a light just popped into my head.
Good.
Personally, I'm gonna not very often does a light happen, but this map here. Hold on a second. Let me just. I don't want to ruin the thingy I have here, but let's see here what happens. Let me see if I can share this, Herman. But the map is by Rick Barber, man.
Mm-hmm.
And by far, I think the most beautiful maps in any game I've seen.
Not only the most beautiful, but the most well researched.
I mean, look at that, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's on the Devil's to Pay, if I'm not mistaken. That's the Devil's to Pay map. Now, the bell that went in my head, you said you're hoping that for stretch goals, dividers is that. What about posters of the map? That's a hell of a stretch goal. That map is mountable. I mean, you could put on a wall. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good idea. You could write to Mark and suggest that, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest because I keep bugging Rick Barber. I go, you got any old maps, old maps you can get rid of? And it's like, stop bothering me, kid. Right. Anyways, But going back to this here, hold on a second. Going back to your game, A Most Fearful thingy, I forget what it's called, A Most Fearful Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So these scenarios, like looking at scenario 3, I looked at scenario 1, 2, all of them, and they're all short scenarios, Herman. Now, all this game, these are all what, little battles that led to a Gettysburg, or is this all Gettysburg?
Well, it all occurred at Gettysburg. They're just, some of them are just snippets of what occurred. The great thing about Gettysburg, if people want to know, well, for me anyway, why is Gettysburg so well gamed? Why did I design 5 games on it?
Yeah, and the thing is that it's one-sided if you think about it. No.
Well, here's the thing. For example, Gettysburg's got all these wonderful little stories to it. So the first day of the battle is a different story than the second day of the battle. And within that second day of the battle, you've got Devil's Den and the wheat field and Little Round Top, all these great stories in there. On the other side of the map, you've got Culp's Hill, you got Cemetery Hill, Pickett's Charge, all that stuff. So there's all these snippets of great military stories in that battle. This is actually the first game I've done on the entire battle. All the other games have been on little parts of the battle.
So how much research does it take to do a game like this, Herman?
Well, like any war game, any historical war game, these things take a lot of work. And like designing each of these scenarios, you have to know where everybody was and when they were there. I mean, I had books laid out all over here and cross-referencing times, and then I'm checking with our developers what information do they have. And let me tell you something. I'll got to give a shout out to these guys: Steve Pointinger, Claude Whalen, Zeke Conover, and Fred Manzo. Those guys, the best development team you could ever have.
Really?
Oh my God, they played the living daylights out of this game. Gave me great feedback. It couldn't have been accomplished without them.
I mean, I know Fred Manzo. I've heard Claude Whalen. What?
Well, Claude actually did Kernstown.
Okay.
So it's the same system. He just designed his own game, and he's got another one coming out on Wilson's Creek for Revolution Games too.
Okay. Herman, is
Trevor Canadian?
Trevor, I can't wait to meet him. So okay, we're gonna bounce back and forth like that, Herman. I hope you don't mind. And chat, I hope you don't mind.
No, go ahead. And if anybody's got a question like Chris, I can answer that. That's fine.
Can you answer this question?
Sure.
Go ahead, answer it.
It's usually the theme first, and then after you decide that you want to do that particular subject matter, then you start thinking of what mechanics work best for that subject matter. Now, I will admit there have been mechanics that I keep in the back of my pocket that I find and wait for the opportunity to bring them out. So, but definitely the theme first. I mean, my number one advice to all game designers is you have to design what you love. You can't, don't do a bulge game because you think you should do a bulge game. You have to love what you do. And, if you don't have a desire to do that particular subject matter, then it's no point in doing it.
Yeah, I can't do anything I'm not into it. It's just I can't. And okay, sorry. Did you answer that? What's the ETA for this game here?
Officially, it's the spring of this year. Unofficially, very soon. I don't want to give a date because if the date doesn't happen, then people are going to get that.
Is there a date for the Kickstarter?
There's a tentative date.
Okay. So the game is done.
Game's done.
And yeah, before Herman, I was looking for your designer's notes, and I didn't find them here. What's up with that?
They're at the end of the rule book.
And so I have a scenario book here. Okay.
Right.
Okay. I can't get over Rick Barber's maps, man. Do you know how long he takes to create these maps, Herman?
A very long time.
Really, eh?
Yes. Well, especially a map like, this is his baby. Gettysburg's his baby. He knows this better than anybody. So when he redoes all his research each time he does it, because new facts come out, new information comes out about what the battlefield looked like at that time. So, I mean, and then, he uses old school techniques to do his maps. He does everything by hand. So he redoes it each time.
Yeah, I mean, it's wicked. I'd love to have an original Rick Barber. I swear, man, this is whew. Now, the thing is, Herman, with this game, you have all of Gettysburg. Is there every single battle, not battle, is there every single skirmish and fight in this? Is this as far as you're concerned, is this accurate, historically accurate?
Yes. The only thing we don't have in here are the cavalry battles that occurred on July 3rd after the battle. We were looking into doing that, but it just became too big, and we couldn't include them. But the reason there's 13 scenarios, actually, there's the 12th scenario is the historical 3-day battle. The 13th scenario.
Hold on a second. Let's check this out here. Did I pass it? 10. Look at that, in magnificent style.
Well, I had to use that, of course.
That's yeah, of course, nepotism. Okay, so you said scenario 13 or 12?
Well, so 12 is all this is my fault. So that's the historical 3-day battle. And it is 3 days long. You can do all 3 days. You start with the Confederates approaching on the North map, and you play all 3 days. There's overnight rules. There's bivouacking rules. All kept fairly simple. I'm not a monster game guy. I don't like, if you look at the rule book's actually, I don't even know how many pages it came out to in the end, but it's not enormous. As a matter of fact, it's based on The Devil's to Pay.
Okay.
If you've played that game, you're already 3/4 of the way there.
And each scenario takes about how long to play, approximately?
Well, they go over. I'm in the learning scenario. The first scenario should take you maybe an hour.
Okay, because they're all about like 4 to 6 turns long. Is that right?
Yeah, all the medium-sized ones. Yeah.
Okay. And how long would it take you to play the campaign? Well, the Gettysburg campaign, I guess.
3-day battle is probably going to take you 10 hours or so.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. So what I was saying was the last scenario there is called Tattered Flags, I think, right?
There you go.
Yeah. So that's a what if. So you start off with the historical situation, but you can actually, there's a redirected reinforcements rule there, where you can send reinforcements to different locations and change their time. So if you wanted to do Longstreet's infamous flank march to the south, you could actually pull that off by using this rule. So this scenario says you can adjust all the historical reinforcements. There's no preset leader casualties. Everybody's got a fair chance of getting shot down. And it's just a free-for-all. As far as Summer Storm, I know. Hey, Hex the Hex. It's very close to Summer Storm. I don't know if it's the exact same scale, but it's very close from what I understand.
And Kevin asks, how many counters? How many sheets?
It's on the first page of the rule book. I forgot. It's not a lot. I mean, it's a lot. It's not a lot for a monster game. Let's put it that way. It's not 12. It's not 12 sheets of counters. I think there's 3. Now, don't forget the counters are 1 inch, almost 1 inch square. So these are huge counters.
Yeah, that's huge. And did Rick Barber accommodate with hex size for those counters or no?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
wow, cool.
Yeah. I mean, the maps are big. So to answer the question, I think there's 3 counters. Oh my God, do I have to get my glasses? I forget now. I'll look it up. I should have been better prepared. But I believe there's 3 counter sheets of units and 1 counter sheet of markers.
Okay. Blast Bomb.
Culp's Hill is there, and it's a scenario.
I know. I watched Blast Bob do his intricate playthroughs and reviews. It's pretty cool. I'm sure he's going to do one of this, man. That's for sure. Okay,
we got videos. Yep.
We got Sweden. Hey, Magnus. What time is it in Sweden?
Hey, Magnus.
Man. Okay, we got Stigler here.
Hey, Stigler.
What's he saying here, Herman?
Oh, he's saying that you should be able to tweak the reinforcement schedule and the victory conditions. Yes. As a matter of fact, the victory conditions for this final scenario are really basic. It's if you take the opponent's line of communications, you win. So what we even did with that last scenario is we didn't say, oh, you have to take Culp's Hill, you have to take Cemetery Hill. We got away from all the places that you fought over historically. You find your own places to fight over. You find the military terrain that is appropriate for your strategy. So when did I begin designing this? Yeah, I think it was early 2019.
And you didn't have a publisher in mind.
Oh, yeah. No, this is going to. So this grew. I'll tell you how this grew. So the Devils to Pay, as you know, is on the first day of Gettysburg. And of course, people ask me, well, are you going to do the second day of Gettysburg?
Right.
I said, I don't know. I already did a game on the second day of Gettysburg called Longstreet Attacks. Right. I didn't really want to do another game just on the second day. And my other concern was the maps weren't going to mate up properly. And inevitably, if you publish two games that far apart, they're not going to look the same, right? The color code's going to be off. And to me, and then if you add the second day, you automatically have to add the third day, right? Because you're not going to do another game on the third day alone. Then that project became bigger than the Devils to Pay. The expansion would have been bigger than the original game.
So this is a Tiny Battle Publishing game?
This is Flying Pig.
Flying Pig, okay.
Yeah. So I talked to Mark. I said, Mark, look, if I'm going to do another game like this, let's just do it. You know, none of this, you know, buy one game, buy a second game, buy a third game, try to fit them all together. Oh, the colors don't match. Then people complain about the colors not matching. And I just said, let's just do the ultimate Gettysburg. One big job, you know, a deluxe job. Let's just do it. And we'll put it all in one system and everything matches and everything's great and huge counters and let's just do it. Hey, ID Jester. This gives me an opportunity to mention that I will be on the War Room next Saturday.
There you go, man.
4:00. ID Jester and Tony's Board Life, right? And Rough Swordsman Wargamer.
I know something's been happening with Tony, man. He hasn't been around for the last couple of
episodes,
man. I think they did him in, man.
I just watched their show this morning, and they were talking about Tony was supposed to be there, and he
I don't think Tony's going to be around anymore.
Well, they promised me that he'd be there next week, so we'll see.
Yeah. So okay, so yeah, Blast Pop asked.
Thanks, Kurt.
Blast Pop asked, "Who's the publisher for this Flying Pigs?"
Yeah, it's Flying Pig Games.
Oh, and will the Rick Barber map? See, I can't just call it a map. Will the Rick Barber map be mounted?
Yes.
That's insane. That's insane.
I know. It's 2 mounted maps, 1-inch counters. It's going to be enormous. But like I said, I intentionally designed a lot of one map scenarios so that people who don't have the room for both maps can still get 9 scenarios out of it.
Now, how big is a map again, Herman, in terms of width, length?
See, I should have been better prepared for this. It's about 2 feet by 3 feet.
Is he gonna do like the big box like this?
Oh, I'm sorry, not 2 feet by 3 feet. 3 feet by 5 feet.
The map is 3 feet by 5 feet?
I think so. Isn't it 15 square feet?
Holy cow! That's cool. Is he gonna have like a big monster box like this?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Wow. I'm psyched. I'm psyched for that, man.
Yeah. Do you have a table big enough for that, Dan?
I don't think so. That's too cool.
Yeah, but you know, we agreed that look, if we're going to do this, we're going to try to make this the ultimate Gettysburg game. You know, have everything in there, every battle, every skirmish, the campaign game, a what if game, the whole thing.
That's just awesome. I'm gonna remove this. Herman, do you want to talk more about this game?
I'll answer any questions you have about it, but I mean, it's It was a lot of work, and like I said, the developers put in some great work. By the way, I'm sorry for my red face, but it's beautiful down here in Tennessee. I actually get to walk around in the sun.
What's he saying here? Don't give Danny any info. Info on what? I see.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Kurt. I made up all that information. I'm going to give the real information on your show.
So is this a mini monster game?
I am anti-monster game guy. So I'm going to say no. I mean, size-wise, it's big geographically. I don't think it's a monster game rules-wise. I sent you the rule, right, Dan? You have the copy of the rules?
No. You sent me the scenario book.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know. I was looking for your designer notes.
Oh, okay.
Verstehen Sie?
Ja, ich verstehe. So, but I don't think it's a monster game in the sense that it's it's not 50 pages of rules. It's 20 something pages of rules. It basically follows the blind sword system. All right. So it has all that stuff. The thing we did change, and the problem we ran into, so maybe you guys can appreciate this, doing Gettysburg. Thank you, Robert. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do an ultimate Gettysburg game. The problem with doing a Gettysburg game is, especially for chit pull, is that once the game gets too big, it gets too cumbersome to draw chits. You can't draw 40 chits from a cup without the game taking 5 hours a turn.
Okay, right.
So what I did was I rescaled the way we did it. We activate by core now, and we draw cards instead of draw chits. So there's fewer cards, and when you activate by core, what you have to do is before every turn, you have cards for every division in that core, and you have to lay them out. There's a command display sheet, and you lay out your division by priority. So there's a card for every division, and you say, all right, my first division priority is this guy, my second one's this guy, and sometimes my third one's this guy. So when you activate that core, you roll on the core table, which is right on the activation card now. So there's no looking up rules. All the events are described on the cards. All the command tables are on the cards. So you draw the card, you got the command table right in front of you, you roll the dice, you go, oh, I can activate only my first priority division. So you look right on your division card and you know what you're activating. Sometimes you might get lucky. If you got a good commander, you might get 2 divisions activated. So the card system makes everything go faster, not only because it's easier to draw cards than pull chits, but also because there's more information on the cards now.
So there is no chit pull in this game whatsoever?
No, there's card pull, card draw.
Any dice?
Oh, yeah. Same dice system.
So, yeah, Robert, 20-some pages? Is that what your rule book is? You said your rule book's about 20-some pages, eh?
Do I have to look it up?
No, it says 20.
I'm looking it up.
But this is great. Okay.
All right. It's 25 pages.
25 pages. Big font so we can read it?
It's the same font as the scenario book.
Okay. So Stigler here says it's based on the blind sword, right? It's so we had a question here. Hold on a second. Blah blah blah. Where is it?
Stigler, it's actually not brigades. I didn't want to do another brigade game. All right, because there's a million of them out. So if you've played the Devils to Pay, the units are designed to they're from anywhere from 1 to 4 regiments each, depending on how the units were deployed at the Battle of Gettysburg. So, for example, the Iron Brigade has 3 unit counters because of the way they deployed at the battle. So there's actually 1 counter for the 6th Wisconsin because they detached that and it fought separately. So there's actually 3 counters for the Iron Brigade. Brockenbrough's brigade only has 1 counter. So most have 2 for the, predominantly. And so the scale depends on how they were deployed at the battle. So even, let's say in the 11th Corps, there were a lot of units that were split in 2. A lot of the brigades were split in 2, and that's the way they are organized in the game. So the reason we do that is because so you can replicate what was done historically, but also so that we can design scenarios based on what actually happened.
And Herman, how come? Like,
Oh, you do have the rule book. There it is.
no, that's just a picture
Oh.
I got from I don't know, something. Why are you so enamored? Well, I guess because most of your games are about the Civil War. How come that's your niche for some reason?
Probably because I played Civil War miniatures for many, many years. I just developed all my wargaming knowledge was researching. If there's any miniatures players out there, you research the period in depth. I mean, you're really in there and you're researching uniforms and everything. So I really got into the Civil War that way. But to be honest with you, I mean, my real interest is early World War One, Franco-Prussian War, that kind of thing. So I guess, late 19th century warfare, I guess. Yeah.
You said your preferred scenario, not scenario. Your preferred thing is. I'm trying to open up my. I can't even open my computer's messing up. Oh, there it is. Scusi. I'm sorry. You said you enjoyed the Prussian War, right? You did
Yeah, Franco, that's what I did at any cost. Yeah, the Franco-Prussian War.
That's what I wanted to get. This right here. Boom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
this game is not in print right now, is it?
No, it's sold out now. They haven't told me if they're going to reprint it or not. They haven't said anything about it.
Did it fare well, this game?
I think it fared okay. I mean, it sold out, so that's what.
Man.
Was that 3,000 copies or whatever, right?
I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I mean, it did well. It didn't. It's about an obscure topic. I mean, and that's okay. I mean, I went with it. I wanted to try to make that period of history interesting. A lot of the French gamers appreciate the fact that I didn't sell out the French army. They actually, it's designed with respect to the French army.
It's funny that you're opening up a can of worms that we're going to be discussing sometime in the future about Europeans and the way they view history, their history, and the Americans, the way they view the European history. There's
right.
Yeah, well, let's not get into that. But anyways, it's funny. I didn't know. I'm more of a war game collector than I am a war gamer. Like, I'm so far from a grognard, it's not even funny. But this game here, I remember discussing this game with you, and I remember saying, "Man, this is pre-World War I, obviously, but this actually led. I think this led to World War I, man. This war, or was this a war, or was this just a battle of sorts?"
No, this was a war.
Okay.
So a lot of people consider this the third round of playoffs between who's gonna dominate Europe,
right?
Between the Austrians, the Prussians, and the French. So many people, I'm not going to say anything's definitive, but many people think that World War I grew right out of the results of this war.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it has to do with the Alsace-Lorraine, right? And the French wanted revanche, right? Plan 17 was built around taking back Alsace-Lorraine. So, yeah, I mean, you can consider that. I mean, the point is the French were easily goaded into a world war by the Germans, right? And obviously, you can make the argument that World War I obviously led to World War II.
Well, so, you know what? I find obviously, in my opinion, World War I, World War II, that's the same war.
Well, yeah. I mean, they all feed off one another, but yes, Franco-Prussian War could be considered, the ignition switch for World War I.
Yeah. Herman, what's happening with this, man?
I know you and about 100 other people keep asking me. So that was well on its way a few years ago. It got off track for reasons that I don't want to say. Things happened. Let's put it that way. Real life got in the way. Not for me, for other people. And just recently, I've reconnected with Legion and Kim Kanger. Kim Kanger is going to develop the game. So I'm in the middle of redoing it because since I first worked on this, I've learned a bit more about design nuances and stuff. So I'm actually kind of reworking it a little bit now. But that will, I promise, you heard it here first. I'm going to get this done by the end of the year. I just.
You hear that, Jester? You heard it here first.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that it's just that I'm revisiting the whole thing. So I'm trying to do different things with it and make it better, I hope.
This is very interesting. So if I'm very confident in saying that the Franco-Prussian War was the beginning of World War I. So if the Archduke was not assassinated, so it was unavoidable.
I think you could make the argument that they would have found some other reason to start.
Absolutely. I mean, come on. Kill one guy, you start the, anyways.
By the way, I got to say, we watched a couple documentaries about that whole Archduke assassination. The oddities that occurred in that event, it's almost like the gods came down and said, no, this is going to happen no matter what you do to try to avoid it. You're going to get back in your car. You're going to drive down the wrong road, and some dude's going to happen to be standing there. And this is one of the. If you wrote a novel based on that narrative, they would have left you out of the football.
World War I, man.
I know.
Oh man,
unbelievable.
We got Robert here.
I will get to Dunkirk. I promise. I'm trying to build in a whole naval part of the game too, so it's going to be a little bit more crunchy than a spoiled victory.
What's Robert saying here? I don't get it.
You could argue that World War II ended in 1989.
Is that Cold War he's talking about?
Yeah, I assume so.
Robert, nice man.
Very
nice.
Good.
Herman. Okay, this is your life, Herman.
Yes.
What's this, Herman?
Well, that is the predecessor to the game you just brought up.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And what's happening with this series of games, man? I love these.
Well, thank you.
Is there going to be another triptych?
There is. There are discussions happening at this moment, at this very moment, about doing something with the whole series.
That's just awesome. Look, I love campy 1950s creature feature. This is fantastic. It's my type of fun type game,
Yeah, we're going to do something fun with this.
Hold on. Are you going to do something deluxe, or are you going to do something?
Yeah, deluxe.
Eh?
Yeah, and the funny thing about this game is, and I have to thank Tiny Battle. Tiny Battle basically does now what VPG used to do, which is I can bring a design that I find totally experimental and give it to Tiny Battle, right? And you just have this weird idea and you throw it out there and see if it sticks. And this game was designed, I've told this story before, but this was designed on a dare, basically, by Jeff McAleer from the Gaming Gang. When we were at the Consum World out in Tempe, he said, I don't know if we had a couple beers at the time. We probably did, but he said, wow, you really like chaos. I dare you to design a game that's 100% chaos. That's just based totally on chaos.
Does he know that? Does Jeff know this?
Yes, he knows that.
Okay, good.
And that's why the aliens are called the Chaots in this game.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was designed basically as a joke. Fred and I sat down one weekend at my house and we designed this whole game in one weekend. The basics of it, but it was just we laughed so much designing this game, and it stuck. I mean, people like it, and I'm so happy they do, because it is only designed to be fun. And
Absolutely.
That's it. And then Fred did Space Vermin.
Yeah, I didn't have Space Vermin because I checked Luttmann.
And then Colby and I did Attack of the 50-Foot Colossi.
Yeah.
So we have another one that is part of what we're talking about called Planet of the Moss Men.
Ah, wait, hold on. It rings a bell. Anyways.
So yeah, we're working on that. It possibly in unison with the whole deluxifying thing.
I like that. The Planet of the Moss Men. I like that.
Yes. That's my friend Harvey's last name's Mossman, and
yeah,
we're just like, all right, Harvey, you're going to be in a game. That's it.
That's all. Now it's funny, eh? I don't know why I have this. You were you
yeah, that's Fred's game. I developed that.
That's it. Okay, that's why it was on your.
But that's mostly Fred though. That Fred did a great job with that game. It's very popular for Hollenspiel.
Ah, yeah.
It's very very invaders like. I mean, it's the same idea, the pulp fiction, sci-fi thing. And yeah, he did a great job with it, and Hollenspiel did a great job putting it together. The production's great.
So I mean, you and Fred being the dream team, who's the nuttier guy of both of you, man? Would come out with ideas like this?
I don't know. I think we kind of feed off of each other, to be honest with you. It's I'll say something or he'll say something, and then one of us will double down on it, and then it becomes a whole thing, and then all of a sudden, I'm writing notes. So
it's great. You know what?
You got to have fun gaming. That's the bottom line, right?
Talking about fun gaming, Herman.
Oh my God, Yes, I just want to laugh when I play games. To be honest with you,
of course, it doesn't matter whether I'm so bad I never win at games, so I keep saying it doesn't matter whether I win or lose, because I lose all the time, but I'm still enjoying myself. But anyways,
and this is it's funny because I just said, talk about experimental ideas. Dead Reckoning was a totally experimental idea where Fred and I sat down. What if we designed a game that doesn't use dice? And we came up with this card matching system. So again, we threw it out there to see how it worked. It worked great. People liked it. Then we did the whole First World War. The Race to the Sea and Steamroller are based on this game.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, so was this Fred involved in this one too?
Yeah, he's my development guy. He's the guy that tries to break my ideas.
And so when you develop something, when you have an idea, Herman, and you sit down with your developer, being Fred, oh my God, I just forgot what I was going to say. It just completely slipped out of my mind. I could have been talking about bananas. It would have been this.
So his job is to he's very good at being the devil's advocate, right? So
how many times has he broken the same game and frustrated you to get it better?
Oh, he does it every design. He's done it a couple of times in every design. He doesn't say a lot, but the things he does say are very important. So actually, strangely enough, we were just on Tabletop Simulator a few days ago. I'm working on a First World War game for Worthington that uses a whole new system, and we're playing, and he starts doing something, and I'm looking at him going, "Wait a minute. Why are you doing that?" He goes, "Because I can." So and I go, "Well, I didn't want it to work that way." And he goes, "Yeah, but it's written like that, so I'm doing it." So
that's good.
He keeps joking with me that I keep changing the rules that help him, And
it's funny. What was Fred's occupation? Wasn't he a nitpicker of some sort of company or something?
Yeah, I think he worked in Social Security office or something like that.
So okay, yeah.
Yeah. So he's very good with details like that.
I know Blast Pop's doing this one.
Right, and Crowbar that's basically in Magnificent Style on steroids.
Oh no, sorry, it's in Magnificent Style he's doing. Sorry, Blast Pop. Yeah, Crowbar. I wanted to put in Magnificent Style, which I think I shall do at this moment right now, and I can't find it, and that's just great, Dan. Eh? Isn't that great? And talking about not being prepared, eh?
Well, while you're doing that, I have to say thank you to Worthington. They did such a wonderful job on that game. Oh my God, that cover!
Yeah. Yep.
When they showed me that cover, I almost fell on the floor. I thought that is gorgeous.
And this, if I'm not mistaken, this here is the
So
crowbar.
yeah,
I, I don't
that's
see.
where you play the Germans solitaire against the Rangers.
I haven't seen someone do a playthrough of that, man.
No, not a lot of people have. Fred is a very smart guy. He's very inside. He's very quiet, but very one of those quiet guys that's thinking all the time.
He's a sweetheart, the guy, man.
Very insightful. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Let me see here. I think I put up another pic and I messed it up, but here we go, Herman. This is it. This is your life, Hermann Luttmann. Boom.
Technology. Yeah, that's my run to the litter.
I bought that game in mint condition.
Yeah.
I found it and I mailed it to somebody who said he never got it.
Yeah. I don't know. That game, well,
and I'm looking for this game and I can't get it.
I know. I'm a huge baseball fan.
You are, eh?
Yes.
Any plans for any other type of baseball game?
I got 4 pages of notes on the and a whole bunch of cards all set to go with a new version of a baseball game. I just, the problem is, Dan,
what?
Sports games don't sell that well.
No, I know, man.
And it's tough to get a publisher to dive on that when they're not quite, especially baseball. I mean, I love baseball, but maybe a football game would do better. I don't know. A soccer game would certainly do better, but I love baseball. And
here's an idea, Herman, and no one can say no. The next World War I game that you're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you do a side quest thing that like in World War I where it was Christmas and what was it? The Frenchmen and the Germans played soccer.
Oh yeah, they played soccer. No Man's Land. Yeah.
So create your baseball game there, man. When the Americans came in during the war.
There you go. I like that idea.
I like it. Well, Herman, your life is ebbing by ever so slowly.
You're doing a great job. Everything's popped up so far.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You know what? I like this. I love the cover. Is there any more stuff you're going to be doing with Revolution?
Yeah, Revolution's Roger Miller and Rich Handewith are fantastic guys. They do a great job. So they have right now. So Claude's going to do Wilson's Creek. I think that's fairly soon.
And is that going to be a barber map too?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes. And then I believe they have a Bull Run game in the works.
Barber map?
Always barber maps. And then for next year, I'm going to do Stones River.
Now, talking about Rick Barber, there was a time where his maps, he was doing a lot of maps for because he goes back a way, doesn't he, Rick Barber?
Oh, way back.
Okay. Well, where would I have seen his designs in like Avalon Hill or SPI? Could it be?
He did them for Clash of Arms, I believe. Summer Storm. I think he did one of the Napoleon maps. Was it Napoleon at Leipzig?
And when was this? What year was this?
This is back in the 80s, I guess.
And was there a time when Rick Barber, he did a lot of maps and then it cooled down a little bit? And now for some reason I'm seeing Rick Barber everywhere, man.
Yeah, he does. I guess he was out of it for a while. You're right. I don't remember him doing any. I mean, he did Gettysburg to Wheatfield with me. To be honest with you, I don't even remember how I first got together with him.
Man, I swear I love that guy's. I love that guy's maps.
They're immersive into that period, right?
And by loving Rick Barber's map, I'm not belittling anybody else who does maps, man. It's just, it's just like this guy's hand drawn, man.
Yeah, it's got that really old school hand woven feel to it, and it feels like the period that you're playing.
And when I was in touch with Rick Barber, I remember looking at the calligraphy of how he writes Gettysburg and stuff like that. And because I'm a fountain pen freak, I noticed all the lines, and I said, "Hey, Rick, you use fountain pens too?" And he was like, "Shut up, kid! Stop bothering me."
Diplomacy is not his strong suit.
He was nice. I'm joking. He was nice. So Herman, let's see here. Oh, we got this. This is a Revolution game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, that was the second one I did for them. Right.
And
so Stonewall Sword was actually the first one. This is the second one, and Long Street Attacks was the third one.
And where was your blind sword system solidified, in this one or in Long Street?
Hey, Kabuki, how are you? Good to see you here. So blind swords, the name Blind Swords came up in Stonewall Swords. So that's the first time you see the name Blind Swords. And that was a poem that Fred actually showed me, and I picked out the term blind swords in there, Stephen Vincent Benet, I think. And that's how we got this blind swords term, because I thought it was very descriptive of how the system works, where the two players are very nice, Nathaniel. Where the two players are dealing with hidden information, basically chaotic information they don't know. So blind swords is very appropriate. Actually, the first time I ever used that system was in Duel of Eagles.
I don't know that.
Yep, that was the first one. I did that for White Dog games.
Oh, hold on a second.
That was on the Battle of Mars-Latour.
I don't have it here, Herman.
That's okay. It's okay. So that's the first time I used it, and I found that it worked. And then from there, the reason I did Stonewall Sword is because of a website called Obscure Battles, and they did a whole big detailed analysis of the battle, and I found it so fascinating I decided to use the system for that. I really knew nothing about Cedar Mountain before I did the game.
So you are a big American Civil War fan, right?
Yes.
You watched Ken Burns' series?
Yes.
How many times?
Just once. Yes.
I mean, I even watched it a few times, and I still don't know what's going on. I mean, and I that's where I gotten to know Shelby Foote. Man, anyways.
Right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Herman, I'm cutting this off, as you can see. Thank you for being here. And Herman's game, again, he doesn't know exactly when it's coming out. He doesn't dare say when it's coming out.
That's right.
He doesn't want to be roasted. And I'm sure Mark would be, but yeah, just pass it on, Mark. It's Mark who told you whatever. This is going to be a Flying Pigs extravaganza, big box, two huge mounted maps, Rick Barber maps. And who's the designer, Herman?
Who's the designer?
Of this game?
Me.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch you off guard.
Okay. I was going to say, there's a trick question.
Man. Anyways, chat, thank you very much for being here. Herman, thank you very much. Stick around. I'm going to do my professional outgoing intro, outro. And Herman, again, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Sorry to bust your chops.
It's fine.
Do something about your lobster face.
I know, man. It's unbelievable. Beautiful Tennessee. What can I say?
Chat, thank you very much. And Herman, thank you very much for being here. Stick around.
Thank you, Dan. Bye.